Time for another mailbag here on Seahawks Today. Tyler Jones here with you. Happy to have you with us. You guys have questions, and you're in luck because I have answers for you. And you may be wondering, how do I get involved in these mailbag shows? Well, we do them on our live editions of Seahawks Today every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. So here's what you need to do. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss a moment, and you can be a part of these mailbags here on the channel, youtube.com/Seahawks TV. First question is a $10 super chat from a user from the509. Does Seattle pick a wide receiver with their second first-round pick? The answer is no. That's not happening. You have DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. And even despite the rumblings about Tyler Lockett's future, I think that Tyler Lockett's back next year, and they hold serve, and they build with these two guys as is. But just for curiosity, let me tell you about the wide receivers in this upcoming draft. You got Quentin Johnson out of TCU, really good player with a lot of size, 6'4", 215. He's been electric in the Big 12 Conference this year. He's been a big reason why TCU is a contender for the college football playoff. Then there's Jordan Addison from USC. Remember, he was at Pitt, and he transferred to join Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams, and he's been terrific this year. I like his pro potential. I like also from Ohio State, Jackson Smith is another good receiver. Josh Downs from North Carolina. This wide receiver class isn't as good as last year's class. We've seen wide receivers have gotten a lot better in most recent drafts. I think this year the wide receiver class is kind of down, but just based on need-wise, no, I don't think the Seahawks draft a wide receiver in the first round, but we'll see. Next question, will the Seahawks win the division? Man, I hope so. I hope they do. The Niners are going to be tough. And something to keep in mind here, too. The Seahawks are a game back, but they're really 2 games back when you think of it, because the Niners have the tiebreaker right now. So basically, if you're this Seahawks team, what you have to do is that you have to win against the Niners, win the head-to-head, and then hope the Niners lose another and gain a game that way, too. It is a steep hill to climb for the Seahawks to try to come back and win the division at this point. Will they? I want to say yes, but I'm not confident. I am confident they'll make the playoffs, but I'm not confident they'll win the division at this point after losing to Las Vegas last week. Glass Tomato says, what will it take for the Seahawks to make the playoffs? Well, I think 10 wins gets you there. I think a 10-7 record gets you in the postseason. And the Seahawks are already at 6-5, just 1 game above 500 right now. And I think you get a win this week against the Rams. I think you beat the Panthers. That puts you at 8. So let's say that magic number's 10, right? Okay? You got those 2 there. The Niners game is a toss-up. The Chiefs game, probably a loss on the road at Arrowhead. And then you finish out with the Jets and the Rams. Well, quick math. Out of 6 games left, there's at least 1, 2, 3, 4. That puts you at 10. And then you still have the Niners and the Chiefs game potentially. So, yes, I think the Seahawks right now get into the playoffs with a 10-7 record, potentially 11-6. We'll see. But, yeah, I do think the Seahawks make the playoffs. What say you? Will Seattle make the playoffs? If you think they will, type Y for yes. If not, type in for no. Let me know in the comment section. Y for yes, in for no, if you think Seattle makes the postseason or not. Ashley writes in, do the Seahawks go after another running back in the draft? And if so, who would be the best option? So the Seahawks, it's so interesting. This running back position for Seattle has certainly changed a lot. We were talking, remember, before last year's draft that, you had Rashad Penny, you had Chris Carson. Did you even need to draft a running back? Well, Chris Carson was not in good shape. Obviously, he retired. And then Kenneth Walker he got hurt and you got banged up again, or not Kenneth Walker, Rashad Penny rather. And so you were left with Kenneth Walker pretty much. And so with that, yeah, I do think you are going to have to draft a running back in this next draft. Some of the options to keep in mind of this next draft class, Bijan Robinson is going to be the number one running back to go off the board out of Texas. I think Bijan's actually going to be a first-round pick. I don't think the Seahawks draft Bijan. I don't think that's their priority to go running back that high, but he's a name to watch for. Blake Corum out of Michigan, I like a lot. And I'm not just saying that because my boss, James Yoder's a big Michigan guy, but Blake Corum, if it weren't for the injury, he might have been holding up the Heisman Trophy. Tank Bigsby out of Auburn is also another guy I like. Just the name Tank and a running back, how could you not like that? Those are a few names to keep in mind. I do think Seattle goes with a running back. I would be surprised if it's in that first round, though. Ninja writes in, do you think the Seahawks will be a first-round exit if they make the playoffs? All depends on who they play, right? I mean, if they're the 7 seed, you would face the 2 seed, which would be the Vikings right now. That'd be a tough matchup. If you slide in as the 6 seed, then you'd be the Niners. And we already saw earlier this year the Niners handled the Seahawks pretty well. So, I mean, they wouldn't be favored, I can tell you that much, more than likely, but it's not insurmountable necessarily. They very well could still win a playoff game or two potentially. Not to sound too much like coach speech here, but got to take it one game at a time. We'll see. We are offering a great deal just for Seahawk fans. Hoodies and sweatshirts up to 50% off. Chatsports.com/CHoodies to get yours today. Look, folks, it is getting cold outside, okay? You need to dress warm, and you might as well represent your favorite team while doing so. You're in luck because the Seahawks actually have style and stuff that looks good, unlike the Cleveland Browns who just look ugly. The Seahawks, I mean, there's some swag involved. So if you want to rock out with your hawk out and represent the Seahawks, you're in luck because we have some great attire for you and on sale up to 50% off. Chatsports.com/CHoodies to get yours today. You'll be glad you did. Charlie the Unicorn writes in, with the number 3 hypothetical pick in the 2023 draft, do you keep the pick and draft BPA or drop down a few spots and grab another first-round pick in 2024? I think that's a big hypothetical at this point here. I'm not looking ahead to, getting picks to 2024 yet. I think it's too early to say, if you would trade down or not. I see where you're going at, Charlie the Unicorn. I know everyone's excited about the drafts and all that, but to me, that's too early to say, would I trade down or not? I would lean towards stay with where you're at. We've seen in recent years that teams that trade up, you got to give up a lot. You got to give up a package deal. I'm not just trading down for a first-round pick next year. I need more than that potentially. So in that scenario, no, I need more. AJ writes, how many more years will Carroll be the head coach? He's old AF, and I low-key want Waldron to be the next head coach. So I've seen some rumblings around Seahawks land about Shane Waldron being the next head coach of the Seahawks, been promoted from OC to head coach. I think we're looking at, realistically, Pete Carroll goes a couple more years. The timing, I don't necessarily know if that's going to play out. Shane Waldron's name is probably going to come up for head coaching jobs this year, okay? Unless Pete pulls a Bruce Arians and just out of left field says, yeah, I'm done, then I don't see that scenario playing out where Waldron becomes the head coach. I think Pete is a very young, 70, 71 years old, if you want to put it that way. I mean, heck, our president, say what you want about him, he's 80 years old. So, maybe 70 is the new 60 now or something here. So with that, I think Pete goes a few more years. I think he goes at least 2, maybe 3 more years at this point. I I doubt that Shane Waldron is going to have that window to be the next Seahawks head coach at this point. What say you? What's your confidence level in Pete Carroll moving forward? Scale it for me 1 through 10. It's much higher for me now than it was at the beginning of this year. The man is understanding analytics. That's a big step in the right direction. He's throwing the football on offense. He's letting Geno cook. I'm more confident in Pete Carroll than I was at the beginning of the year. Scale it for me 1 through 10, what your confidence level is in Pete Carroll. Next question. I feel Abram will be much better in Seattle. His type of scheme he played in college is similar to Seattle's current defensive scheme. I think that's a little optimistic. Johnathan Abram already has been with 2 teams this year in Green Bay and Las Vegas, a former first-round pick back in 2019. He's obviously talented, but I'm not getting my hopes up that Johnathan Abram is going to be this difference maker for this Seattle team. It's optimistic. I see where you're coming from, but I would say don't get too excited just yet. Scott writes in, Will Anderson or Jalen Carter? Will Anderson. Will Anderson every time. I will preach to the tune of Will Anderson from now until the very day of the draft. He's got to be your number 1 pick. Don't care what your quarterback situation is. Will Anderson is that guy. He is something special. Will Andersons do not grow on trees. Nothing against Jalen Carter, but Will Anderson is that dude for me. Yes, Will Anderson is it. Hashtag Seahawks, we need more pass rush. We had none against the Raiders. Yeah, for as much it was made about the run game of stopping the Raiders' run, having issues there was no pass rush either. So it's just all bad in that department. You're right. User from the 509, what's going on with Darrell Taylor? That's kind of the million-dollar question at this point, isn't it? What the hell is going on with Darrell Taylor? I don't know what to tell you. It's not good. It's not good with Darrell Taylor. He has been a problem and been a point of frustration for this Seahawks team. Nothing makes sense. It does not add up. I don't have an answer for you. I don't know why he's playing the way he has and why this has not gone well for him, but hopefully he turns things around. Subscribe to the best Seahawks Today YouTube channel. It's right here each and every day as we bring you daily news and rumor segments. Got a watch party on Sunday for the Seahawks and Rams game. Get things started about 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific, and then the game will kick off at 4:05. We will react to the game in real time. We'll have a few drinks in hand, do a little post-game coverage as well. This is the place to be. Seahawks Today. Subscribe now for the latest news and rumors, the latest happenings in your favorite team. This is the place to be here on the channel.